Good morning. It is time to rise and shine. My name is Haylee Jacob, and I'm your host for the Rise and Shine podcast. Good morning and happy Memorial Day. I hope that you were able to take off of work and spend time with your family. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day, spending time with family, having a blast. If you're going to the lake or if you're hanging out at home, whatever you are doing this weekend, I hope that it is blessed and that you are getting some rest. But I also hope that you take the time to think about what Memorial Day is for. It is for remembering those soldiers who have fought and fallen for your freedom to take a 3-day weekend, for your freedom to go to the lake. And I hope that you take the time to really think about that. Sorry guys, I am honestly not all here today. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I like to be upfront with you guys. This has been a rough week. I have been not feeling well, very much under the weather for it was 4 days. I'm feeling better today and I was feeling pretty good yesterday, but a total of 4 days, and I don't remember being this sick in a long time. I actually did end up going to the emergency room because I was dehydrated, and that sounds super dramatic. I say emergency room. It is technically an emergency room, but it's not a hospital. It's literally the place I went is 2 minutes from my house, and so we went there instead of an urgent care. So I wasn't like that sick, like I needed an emergency, but I did have to get those one of those IV bags to help because I was so dehydrated and not feeling well at all. So I'm gonna keep this one a little short today just because I'm still not quite 100%. I'm better. I'm much better, but still not 100%. But today I want to talk about, with me not feeling great, and I'm thinking about kind of some things that came along with not feeling well. For some reason, I got a really bad neck pain since I've been sick. I've had this really bad neck pain. I don't know if I slept on it wrong and it was just a coincidence. I don't know if it's like a symptom, a side effect of something, but I've had really bad neck pain for 4 days, 5 days. Today would be 5 days since I started feeling sick. And today it was just really bad and it's like spreading to my head, and today I'm like, you know what? I've been so sick that I've been forgetting to really pray for myself. My husband's been praying for me, my family's been praying for me. So like other people have been praying for me, and I know their prayers work, but sometimes we also have to pray for ourselves. Like, yes, we can go to other people for prayer and that's wonderful, but we also have that authority for ourselves. We don't always have to call someone else. It's not like other people's prayers work better than ours, you know? We can pray for ourselves. And I just was feeling so sick and not, I'm just wanting to sleep. So I didn't take the time to pray for myself. And today I just reached back on the back of my neck and I put my hand on the back of my neck and I prayed for my neck. And it immediately started feeling better. And it like tried to come back. And it did. That pain tried to come back after it felt better. And I was like, nope. And I reached up and I prayed for it again. And right now, my neck is feeling so much better. So I just want to take a quick few minutes to talk about healing. And this is something that this is not a full podcast on this. The healing is so in depth. It takes so much study that I have not done because I've been sick this week. I'm just going to be honest. I haven't done a lot of study in this, but we can pray for ourselves. We can take that initiative. And it's not our power that heals us, obviously. It's God's power, but we can take that initiative, that authority, and pray for ourselves. And I thought about one of my very favorite stories in the Bible. This is, yes, one of my favorite stories in the Bible is the woman with the issue of blood. And I just want to take the time to read it and encourage you guys, if you're not feeling well, if you're feeling sick physically, if you're feeling tired mentally, or if you're feeling whatever it is, even if it's finances, whatever it is, or even if it's for a family member, you feel the need to pray for a family member, you don't always have to call your pastor and say, hey, can you pray for this? Because you can pray for this. Yes, you can call your pastor and have them pray, and that's a wonderful thing to do. And you can pray together and you can stand together in prayer. But you don't have to rely on other people's prayers. That's the wonderful thing. And this story is going to prove it. And so I'm going to read this. It's Matthew 9, and we're starting in verse 18. While he was saying these things to them, behold, a ruler came in and knelt before him, saying, my daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she will live. And Jesus rose and followed him with his disciples. And behold, a woman who had suffered from a discharge of blood for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his garment. For she said to herself, if I only touch his garment, I will be made well. Jesus turned and said to her, seeing her, and said, take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well. And instantly the woman was made well. And when Jesus came to the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the crowd making a commotion, he said, go away, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping. And they laughed at him. But when the crowd had been put outside, he went in, took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And the report of this went through all that district. So that's two stories in one, kind of. So it starts out with Jesus is hearing about this little girl who has died, and he's headed to her house. And in all the commotion, this woman reaches out and touches just the fringe, the hem of his garment. So she doesn't even touch his body, his person. She just touches a little string from his clothes. And I want to stop right there. In these old Jewish traditions, when a woman was having her time of the month, and I think really when anybody was bleeding, I could be wrong about that, but I know for sure about that first one, there had to be a cleansing process after. So nobody could touch the woman while during that time, or if somebody was bleeding, nobody could you couldn't, passed away bodies, you couldn't touch them. If you touched them, you had to go through a certain process to kind of re-enter society, I guess. To nobody wanted to touch you because you were unclean, because you touched an unclean person, or because you're bleeding, you're unclean at that moment. Does that make sense? I know, I'm so sorry, guys, I'm trying to keep my thoughts all together. But so this woman had been bleeding for 12 years, meaning that she had been considered unclean by everyone around her for 12 years, meaning nobody wanted to be around her, nobody wanted to touch her. So that's a very isolated place to be. Not only are you sick and unhealthy and unwell, and I'm sure she felt terrible all the time, but nobody was there to help her. Nobody wanted to be around her. Nobody wanted to touch her. And so she had the faith that God and that Jesus had enough power, was strong enough, that all she had to do was touch, again, not even his body, but just reach out and touch a string hanging off of his garment, hanging off of his clothes, and she would be healed. And Jesus felt that power leave his body. He felt it. He felt it. He knew immediately that someone had touched him. I think there's another gospel where I don't know off the top of my head. I can look it up, but where he turns around and says, he asks, "Who touched me?" And the disciples are like, "Well, there's a huge crowd. I'm sure a lot of people touched you. Like everybody is pushing and shoving and trying to get to you. Somebody touched you." But Jesus knew, no, somebody touched me in faith for their healing. That woman had faith that she could be healed, that Jesus could heal her. This morning or this afternoon, when I reached up and touched my own neck, I had faith that Jesus could heal me. Not through my power. It wasn't my touch, but it was the authority, the power that Jesus uses through me. Through me. Not it's not mine, but I had the faith that Jesus could heal my neck. And so I want you guys to be encouraged that you also can be used by Jesus in that way. You just have to have the faith to reach out to him and touch him. Reach out, reach out to him with your prayers. Reach out in faith. Reach out and put your hand on that other person in faith that Jesus will heal them. Now, again, you have to know if you are praying for other people, you have to know where that where that's coming from. That's coming from Jesus. It's not coming from you, right? It's not coming from y- anything inside of you except Jesus, right? But I do want to go on and talk about the fact that two healings happened all at once. There are two stories. Like I said, Jesus went on after that happened and rose the young girl from the dead. And I was thinking, a thought kind of popped in my head as I was reading this a little bit ago. Sometimes it's hard to have faith, and we see Jesus healing everybody else, or we see Jesus answering everybody else's prayers. And I know I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but I want to look at it through this lens today, especially because in my personal life, I feel like there's some people in my life that need healing and need a touch from the Lord. And sometimes we look around and we see other people get healed instantly. You hear of these miracles happening and you're like, wow. So like I've heard stories. I have not seen this. My grandma has seen this. I think, oh, I can't, I think it was a foot. I think it was a foot grew back before her eyes. I can't remember if that was her story or if that was something, but there's stories, and she has a story that she was an eyewitness to. I think it was of somebody's foot grew back, right there. And you hear about these miracles, and I have had a miracle moment as well, and I can talk about that on a different episode. I'll save that for a different episode. But sometimes we look around and we think, man, the Lord is answering all these prayers. He's healing everybody else immediately, right when they come up and pray. Why am I still sick? Why am I still in this situation? Why have I not been healed? Why has this not been lifted from me? I thought that about my hip for a while. If you don't know, I had hip dysplasia my whole life, and last year I had a hip replacement. And I was praying for a miracle that it would be my hip would just pop back in. And that's not how God decided to heal me. Again, I've had that miracle moment in a different situation, but we look around and we think, oh, well, he's healing that person right now. He's healing this person. I guess I'll just have to wait my turn, or I guess whatever. We get a little discouraged. And I don't want you to be discouraged, because I've talked about this before. One, if you're waiting for a reason. He's teaching you something through a reason. And two, it could be you just have a little more faith, right? Don't look around and be jealous of other people's healings. That's not right, right? You need to be excited for their healings, and then that should increase your faith for your own healing, because Jesus in this story healed two people at once. He was on his way to raise this young girl from the dead, and the woman reached out and touched his garment, healed he healed her, He still had time to turn around, talk to her, tell her that she is well, that her faith has made her well. And then he turned around and raised that young girl up from the dead. Just because someone is getting a miracle doesn't mean you can't get yours. And sometimes I think we get in this mindset of jealousy and we don't realize it's jealousy. And we're like, oh man, God keeps healing these people, or God keeps answering those prayers, or their finances have been blessed. Mine haven't. And so I guess God doesn't have time for me. And we get in that mindset and it's not correct. It's not correct. God is he can be everywhere at once. He sees everybody at the same time. And so I want to encourage you to have faith for your healing. If you are sick, if you're going through something, whether it be physically, mentally, if it's finances, if it's a relationship that needs healing, if it's somebody else that needs healing, have faith to reach out and touch the hem of his garment. Have that faith to just know that even if all you have is the smallest prayer of Jesus, please heal me, and that's all you can say, if that's all you have the strength to say, that it's enough. All that woman did was reached out and touched a hanging string off his clothes, and it was enough. And he saw it, he felt it, he knew it was her, and he healed her. So I pray that you are blessed, be safe on your long weekend, and have a wonderful week. Thank you all so much for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and leave a review. You can also subscribe for new episodes every Monday. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss, you can send me an email at haylee.riseandshine@gmail.com. That's HAYLEE, and the word "and" is spelled out. Or you can send me a voice message on your podcast app. Simply go to the show or episode page and click on the link that says "Send in a voice message." Now, go out there and shine your light.